right, shower is completed. That's not okay.
Oh, I just saw the gnat again.
That's not okay, in my opinion. Oh! I've ordered takeout. Yes, I have. I'm using a literal butter knife right now.
Tried my first bite of food. It dribbled on me a little bit.
One day I will be a plus size influencer who has died. That is crazy.
This video is so raw, you guys. Fuck.
Damn, what a real bitch is saying.
Yes, she did free bleed, and for how long was she bedbound? It was over a year.
Hey there, YouTube. It's me, Hens. I'm back here with Beck and Mr. Snowflake. This is the Mr. Snowflake interview where Beck drops some hot, piping hot tea. And tomorrow morning, I'll have the salty crab reaction to Amberlynn's second members-only live stream. So tune in for that. Let's get into this.
Hey guys, I just want to
Hey,
thank
Beck.
everyone who watched my live stream and caught it afterwards. I do want to apologize for
I did watch
the
it after.
audio issues and the technical difficulties and the video issues, but I do
Bigfoot.
promise to have it fixed.
It's Bigfoot's fault, Amberlynn.
Figured out before the next live stream. This video is me answering questions from the video that Mr. Snowflake, or also known as Under the Hood, made for me to react to. I also want to thank Mr. Snowflake for getting these questions together for me and for making this video. Let's get into it.
Hi everybody. The other day I asked the community...
Hello, Mr. Snowflake.
For Beck. I had loads of questions for Beck. Beck, thanks
Loads.
for help with Victims of an Empath. Dead nicely, thank you very much. I'll read out some questions now from everybody. There's absolutely loads. I haven't included all of them, because there is
No offense to Mr. Snowflake, but he's kind of quiet.
that many. Okay,
I'll turn him up.
Here we go. Questions for Beck. Has Amber tried to contact you after the breakup when everything was over? So she has no problem leaving crazy messages for people. And she was messaging Jade Wifey when she was told not to, so yeah. Has Amber ever tried to contact you after the breakup? I'll read the question, have a little pause, that's when I imagine you'll...
Yeah, she got a hold of me at one point to ask about
That was funny.
a personal thing in my life happening. It was an anniversary of the death of my nephew, and I think she asked how I
God.
was doing, and I didn't answer to that. And then a little while after that, she
Yeah, I wouldn't fucking answer that either. Fuck her.
asked if Kate Winslet had come out with anything new, and I didn't
What the
answer
hell?
that either. And I want to say that
What are
was
these
around
troll-ass
maybe
questions?
the summer of 2022.
No question, I'm just happy she's happier. I'm assuming they know about Amberlynn Reid and now dating a suspected feeder. Oh, I put this 5 days ago. Oh,
Yeah.
now. That was ages ago. I'm wondering what was their reaction to this when they found out? Shocked, unsurprised, worried, or concerned? Curious to know any of their thoughts around this situation, please. I always thought she was much happier being with a feeder. Anyway, what do you think about that?
Am I shocked that Amber would want to date a feeder? No, I'm not. And her being with someone who is
I kind of like this sketch.
okay with the weight she's at, or really okay with her gaining more weight, would be the easiest type of relationship for her to be in. I don't
Totally.
really have anything to say about
Anything that's no pushback. Can't challenge her. Like she said in the video, don't expect her to try to do better. She's already trying her hardest. You're already expecting too much.
Emily. I don't know her, but I will say that I don't see how you can care for a person while participating in feederism with no concern for their health.
True.
Hi Beck, I hope
True.
you're doing well. It's so good to see you look so well and happy. You look incredible after that 600-pound LB lost. Well done.
Lol.
Well done. What was your reaction to Amberlynn about Wifey Jade being two different people? Mental. How did you feel after she chewed you out, making some stupid joke like you always do? I think back on that live stream where she read that text to you out loud and then went whoopsies so often. It's so disgusting and vitriolic. Take care of yourself, Bex. I'm sure you know what it is. I'm not sure how much you keep up to date with now, so some of these I might have to explain, I'm not sure. Yeah, you on the phone when I said, tell Jade I love her too, something like that. You mentioned the name Jade. She panicked, ended the live stream. Next live stream, she made out that, oh, you were just joking about the name Jade, and oh, she told you off, and whoopsie. What happened after that? Was she really angry when you said Jade?
I didn't know how anybody would not see through that, because it was so
True.
obvious that it was the same person. As for the aftermath, she was absolutely mad at me. She was seeing red.
True. What are the odds that Amberlynn would suddenly date two black women back to back, like, and they have the same exact voice? Like, what the fuck? Really? Be so fucking for real. Like, two of the only black people we've ever seen on Amber's channel, period, and they're both her girlfriend, and they both have the exact same voice. Please.
She completely blamed me for her being doxxed, said the whole thing was my fault, even though she had done the whole pointing her name out in the live
Yeah,
stream and
exactly.
then naming the live stream after her thing.
But she wasn't happy.
So the Beck breakup streams, that's when I came into the gore world. And so all of this is pretty fresh in my mind because it's the starting point of where I met Amber. And it was not a good impression.
Would Amber ignore you in real life and then make a video with you acting like she was such a good girlfriend? That's always
Totally.
how I assume she would.
You know
I
she
always
would.
get the feeling, sometimes get the feeling when I watch a video of you two together, like something seems off. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, did Amber, was she ever really angry, ever moody? And then the camera went on and then went, hi, girlfriend tag, everything's great.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was. Like, there would be times that we would be arguing.
I mean, we can tell because that's how it is in the Destiny era in the ankle retro reactions. You can tell when they've just had a fight because Destiny is dead silent. She's like not even looking at Amber. And then Amber's like trying to engage with her and be all happy go lucky because she probably instigated the fight.
Having a disagreement or something, and then she'll be like, oh, well, I'm getting ready to film, so
Yeah,
as soon as she would
exactly.
turn on the camera, it would be a completely different person.
Called it.
Did she weigh more than 572.4 pounds? She's always said that was the highest weight. That was the highest weight she ever saw. Did she ever weigh more than that?
I honestly do not know what her highest weight is, and I don't even think that she knows really, but I do remember her weighing like 570, maybe like 580 something at some point. She definitely got more private and secretive about it after that, so I'm not really sure how much she ended up weighing.
Do you think Amber sometimes believes her own lies? Or if she was more able-bodied, do you think she would have been physically... I think you answered that in a Karina video, I think. But do you think she believes her own lies?
I do think that she convinces herself that her lies are true because she wants them to be true. It's really hard to explain why I think that, but I feel like I've seen it happen.
And this person says, sorry, I have one more. I don't think I read out the other one, sorry. What would Amber say about her lies when the camera was off? Would she try and justify it to you? Would she say nothing to you at all and pretend her lies were real?
I don't know of actual instances, but I know that there were times where she would be like, make sure you don't mention this or that, just to make sure that things were kept straight.
Oh.
Did Big Al ever threaten to off herself if Beck wanted to break up with her? Did she do that with Destiny?
She didn't threaten to do that with me, but she did guilt me in other ways, like saying who would help her and who would take care of her.
Who
would be
wipe
there
my
with her, if she'd be
ass?
lonely, that kind of stuff.
Myself.
How did Amber treat the service workers she encountered when the camera was off? Waitstaff, cashiers, receptionists. Was she outright rude? Did she fake kindness then trash talk? What were the reactions of other customers? I've been watching videos from when you were with her, and she said people would laugh at her, people would mock her. She could see the stares. She'd be really paranoid about that. Now she makes out that every time she leaves the house, some guy's asking her out.
Everyone's in love with
Seem
Amber.
like there were times she
Duh.
would fake kindness, but she wouldn't outwardly be rude to wait staff or anything that I could tell. But there were times where we did get stared at, and if they were talking about us, I tried my best to tune everything out so I didn't hear it.
Why does Amberlynn Reid insist on being chauffeured? Why won't she learn to drive or take an Uber? I'm going to put it down to laziness like everything, but I'll wait to see what you say.
She's terrified to drive, and I also think she knows that she couldn't fit behind a steering wheel or probably wear a seatbelt, and that's also probably why she can't take an Uber, is because she would be required to wear a seatbelt.
She could totally fit behind the wheel. There's people who are on my 600-pound life who drive like vans. Because the seat, I think, goes back further if it's a captain seat, maybe? I don't know.
Did Amberlynn claim BPD when you were together, or did she still have ASMR? Does it bring you joy to see her love and life spiral?
It was the
I think
binge
it brings a lot of
monster.
people joy to see her spiraling at the minute. I think she's crazier than she's ever been. Well, it's more obvious now. We can spot it. It's more obvious now.
No, she didn't claim to have BPD when we were together, but a friend of ours did mention it to me, saying that they thought that she had BPD or something similar.
Interesting.
Did Amberlynn Reid ever confess to you about her major wrongdoings / lies, e.g. the Casey SA, Gracie, grooming Libby, etc.? I don't know what you're aware of now.
Oh.
A lot of people are calling her Diddy Lynn.
Oh my god. She did, though. She really did. Because she made the relationship so toxic with the sister, the stripper sister, who was the roommate, that Libby was talking shit on the vlogs about her sister. And that's inappropriate to leave that in. Even if she wanted to talk shit in private about her sister, because sometimes you have disagreements, you kept it in, Amber. that makes you toxic. And then you, on top of that, invited her to sleep in the same room with you and Destiny while you and Destiny are under the same sheet. Like, and we know that you were kissing up on each other because you kissed up on each other in other vlogs in front of her, and she looked really uncomfortable. It was the same one, I believe, where they were throwing the dog, the puppy, and the kitten. Um, and then add on top of that, you invited Libby to get into bed with you, like, and to get directly into bed with you and Destiny in your living room. So, yeah, that's creepy and gross.
How she was around Libby and kids and other
Like,
things.
even by definition, that is like pretty much grooming because Amberlynn was a stranger and an adult. She was 25 at the time, and Libby was 15.
Did she ever confess anything like that? The essay stuff still baffles me.
No, she never confessed to major wrongdoing. She basically kept the same story that she had online with me. I only found out recently that Casey was a minor, and I didn't know anything really about
Damn.
Libby. I'd never met her
Beck didn't even know that Casey was a minor.
or anything, but all I did know about it was that she was Destiny's friend and she was a teenager, and they had
No, she was Destiny's family's friend. Like, one of them. The sister was the true friend of Destiny because they were like about the same age. And, or even like the sister was a little bit older. But they were also drinking in front of Libby. And the only person who was old enough to even drink was Amber. Make that make sense.
an adult friend who had a crush on her, and I told Amber that I thought that was weird.
It's
and
a
Amber was
Michael
like,
Jackson
yeah, but he's
Jesus
a good guy,
juice.
which I don't understand how he could be a good guy and be flirting with a minor. The only
Right?
other red flag I've really seen from Amber was she did have a crush on Billie Eilish when Billie was just starting out. So I think she was a
Ew.
teenager around then, which I told
Ugh.
her was weird, and so did Eric and Ricky. But she said that she was almost an adult and that she acted older and looked older. So it was okay.
What?
I just really wished.
That's disgusting. Ew. Ew. Well, she looked older, so it must have been okay. What? What? What in the fuck? What? Ugh. Disgusting. Disgusting.
I would have dug deeper into these
Because
things
Billie Eilish looked very young when she was young.
and taken it more seriously because they really are.
She looked like she was
awful and it's
16 or
unacceptable
something.
Behavior. But I will always stand with victims.
When she was 18.
She had sympathy for PDFs and she would argue with people about it.
Ah, damn.
And she said the reason she defended PDFs was because she was gay and she didn't want to judge people like she'd been judged. Then she forgot that and said the reason she had sympathy and stuck up for PDFs was because of what her cousin did to her.
That is absolutely disgusting. Never compare being LGBTQ whatever to that nasty perversion and disgusting, like, criminality. What the fuck?
Her. And she forgot that. And she said the reason she stuck up for PDFs and argued with people online about it was because of what her father's friends did to her. Yeah, it was because she was gay, cousin, father's friends. Anything on that? Because I think that's the worst stuff.
I just found out that she said that, and that's a
Oh, right. Her father's friends who didn't actually do anything to her that she admitted later on.
disgusting comparison because gay people can consent, whereas children cannot.
How
That
did you feel when
part.
she said she did not have BED after using the binge monster as an excuse for so many years when she seemingly didn't get her way?
I thought it was hilarious because the entire time we were together, she always said that she had binge eating disorder. I don't know exactly
Right?
why she said that she doesn't have binge eating disorder, but I will say that what I witnessed was that she would eat copious amounts of food. And whenever I wouldn't give it to her or she wouldn't get it, she would just be really upset and angry about it. And the binge monster would come out. And well, that's what she called it. It was actually just her kind of being a toddler about it.
Ella have a burner Instagram account. She was Damon White, pretending to be Damon White to see what people said about her. And people have always thought she's got stock accounts and burner Instagram
I'm sorry. I got sour gushers and they were so good. They were in the vending machine at work.
accounts. Was she just obsessed with like reaction channels back then and what the comments said and what this website said and what this website?
I think
what this
she's
website
just
said?
obsessed with what people have to say about her in general. She actively seeks out everything that she can find.
Was she just utterly obsessed with it and going undercover to see? Oh man.
I'm sure she did, but Damon White is the only one that I know for sure of. And yeah, she was all over the reaction channels and the Facebook and Reddit and Cutie
Wow.
Farm. She checked that stuff out all the time.
How much food did Amber actually eat throughout the day? Don't know why I put that one in there. I'm guessing a lot to maintain 500-600 pounds.
It was a lot of ramen. She ate a lot of ramen. She ate a lot of fast food. She ate a lot of junk food. Of course, you know, she would have her normal breakfast, lunch, dinner, but she would always have snacks and stuff in between. So there would be times where she wouldn't, like, she would fast for a little while, but then she would, like, you know how you just go like 16 hours without eating, but then she would binge.
Oh, she would do what mukbangers do, where they literally will say that they didn't eat breakfast, didn't eat lunch, and they're going to have the mukbang for dinner. I've seen that.
For the rest of the 8. She would just eat.
Why does Amber claim to love Rosa Parks so much? Has she done any research about her or know anything
Lol.
else? Know anything else she did in the civil rights movement besides the one bus?
Amber doesn't know shit about the civil rights movement. And literally, she claims to have grown up in the Bay Area, so she should know a lot.
She has a very good
She
knowledge of
should,
history.
but she doesn't.
Yeah, why does Amber claim to love Rosa Parks so much?
I really don't think that she does know anything besides Rosa in the bus situation. I just think that she thinks it makes her look good to be interested in that.
Do you think Ham really had goals standing in the line waiting to be a girlfriend? She does now. Emily's over. She's got other people backed up.
I don't really know. Like, I never got to see proof of any of that myself. All I know is that's what she told me, and it does kind of seem that every time she ends up having a breakup with someone, she's automatically talking to somebody else within it.
True. I think that's more that she is already talking to people and considering them to be closer than they are, and she considers them as potential relationships. And so that's why she doesn't really have a lot of interaction outwardly, but she always has people in her DMs. She makes it known. My DMs are open on Instagram. Send me DMs. Send me DMs. You know? She's making herself available all the time. So anybody that comes across her who might be interested, she's always open. It doesn't matter where she's at in the relationship, really.
A few days. So I don't know.
What was the typical amount of time Amber set for visiting friends and family? That's one of the... I've never heard of anybody else doing that. Maybe other controlling partners have done that. I've never ever heard of it. I've never come across that before in my life. Jesus. It's such a bizarre behaviour, and I'm trying to even imagine what Amber would view as an acceptable time. There you go. Yeah.
So the timer would be for when I would hang out with my best friends. We would go down to the basement and play games and stuff, and Amber would choose to stay up in our room, and she would set timers for when I would have to leave my friends and come be with her again. And then whenever it came to like seeing my family or leaving and going somewhere without her, she would give me a time, like a specific time that I needed to be back. And if I wasn't back by that time, then there would be an argument. So on average, when I would...
That does match up with Amber's story, what she said, that she wouldn't give a specific timer when Beck was leaving the house. That's what Amber said. She didn't talk about the in the house. She talked about when Beck would leave the house to be with their family. Then it would be, oh, can you be back by this time? Amber didn't acknowledge the part about in the house being timed.
Would be downstairs with my friends, the timer would be about set for 30 minutes. And when it came to seeing my
Jesus
family or
Christ.
leaving in general, she would just ask me when did I plan on being back. And whenever I would give her a time, she would give me a time sooner than that for me to be back.
Did Beck ever feel uncomfortable when Amber would openly flirt with Destiny?
It was just to a point where I would just agree with Amber when she would say, no, everybody's just seeing things. I don't flirt with Destiny. I love Dana. I can't wait till they get married. You know, that sort of thing.
Lol.
No, I mean, I'd also detached myself at some point as well. So I didn't really care enough to argue with her about it because she would definitely not like that I would disagree with the fact that she did show that she still had something for Destiny.
Beck, did you ever have a plan to leave Amber before you actually left? What led to making the plan if you did? You did try and break up with her before, didn't you? And she said no, tried to turn it into a jokey thing. Did you have a plan to leave Amber before you actually left?
No, I never had a plan to leave. There were many times that I had tried to break up with her, but she would somehow find a way to stop it from happening by like saying that she would fix things and things would get better and we would get better. There was this one time that we had an argument on the way home and we stopped in the driveway and argued for a few hours in the car.
Jesus
And
Christ.
she just would not accept me trying to break up with her and would not let us go back in the house until I agreed to give her another chance to fix things and make things better.
In a now deleted vlog from Eric, I've never seen any of Eric's been deleted, I've never caught them before. He was showing a product or something, and in the distance, if you turn up the volume and listen closely, you could hear some banging with someone yelling, "Let me in." Well, that was Amber, so I think my question would be, what happened? I haven't a clue about that one. Heck, I have no idea.
I have no idea what this is in reference to. Like, I have no memory of what this could be. But if somebody does have the footage, I would like to see it so I
Maybe it was a ghost.
can maybe give my insight on what could be happening.
Did Amber really have cancer? I think so. Beck, over to you. I felt great when she blamed you for the cancer.
Oh my
Well,
god.
that was a shock. She did what?
I laughed so hard. I mean, when I got blamed for the cancer, I was like, dude, me, Eric, Ricky, my mom, my sisters, every single person in your life, even your own friends, told you, hey, you should go to the OBGYN. And she wouldn't. She would not go. So how was that my fault? But
I
yeah,
believe
she
you.
did have cancer and she had to have surgery for it.
Crazy man. I don't
Thank
have a
you,
question,
Beck.
I just want to tell them
Thank you,
how
Beck.
happy I am for them.
For your
This is why I
service.
love Beck so much that it physically pains me to see any of the old videos and the S Amber put them through. To see Beck come out the other side on a better path feels good. I wish nothing but the best for Beck and to get everything they could ever want because they deserve it. Was it the Zachary Michael line of I hope you have the day you deserve? I like that.
Thank you so much. It's so raw, you guys. If you have ever been through something like that, I hope that you have come out the other side of it and are in a better place.
If you could go back to speak with your 2018-19 self, what would you tell them?
If I could go back and talk to my 2018-2019 self, I would say leave immediately, run the other direction.
Beck said they wanted to be single for a while after leaving Amber, and they were. What made them realise that they were ready to date again when they met their current partner, who was beautiful, by the way. Congratulations.
I just felt like I was in a better place. I was going to therapy. I was taking medicine again. I had a job. Things were just, I felt better about myself and things just were going good. So I felt like I could again.
Was
Good.
Twinkie... Oh, I want to know this one. Was Twinkie actually sick during that one Vlogmas, or did Amber say that for attention or greatly exaggerate her issue? I'm sure you know about it. She came on camera saying, acted like Twinkie was about to die, but said there was no 24-hour vets, so she just left it. Left the situation. And then when everybody said, you lie, there's a vet she came on camera going, oh, wasn't that serious? So was Twinkie really sick?
This was during the year that I don't really remember a whole lot. So I went back and watched that video, and the way she described it sounds really awful, and I don't remember Twinkie acting that way at all. And Amber
Oh my
does
God.
tend to exaggerate things, so that's probably exactly what she was doing. Because there definitely was a 24-hour vet close by, and I would have definitely taken her if she had been acting the way that Amber was describing.
Were you aware
Jesus.
of Amber lying to the audience about her hygiene, specifically in 2019? If so, did you have any thoughts on why she felt compelled to lie? Did the audience really pressure her in that way that she felt she had to, or was it something she felt within herself? By the way, I hope things continue to improve for you, Beck. Were you aware Amber was coming on camera, Ask FMs, saying, just get out the shower, just get out the shower, just get out the shower, just wash my hair, just wash my hair? Were you aware she was doing that stuff?
I was aware that she was lying to her audience about showering, but I think it was because she was embarrassed and was just trying to keep up an image. But I did not ever look at her Ask FM, so I was not aware that she was posting that she had just gotten out of the shower and so on.
I want the
Jeez.
details of the stupid FBI Frank story. And did Big Cherry really free bleed around the house for months? How long was she pregnant
Ew.
for? So a few things there, but the FBI Frank story, I'm sure you know about that, said the FBI got in touch, so eventually got in touch with her over negative comments on the internet. And the rest of it.
I have no idea about the FBI Frank story, really. It definitely wasn't my sister. Amber did come out and say that I wasn't the ex she was talking about, but I can't think of who it could be at all. For the next question, yes, she did free bleed, and for how long was she bedbound? It was over a year.
Did Amber ever hit you?
Damn. Yeah, she did free bleed, and it was for over a year that she didn't fucking shower. She didn't shower for a year.
Again, I think you answered that in a Karina. Did she smell bad?
Yeah.
I'm guessing yes. There's only so much perfumes and candles can do.
She didn't hit me. I think that if she had had the ability to, she might have, because she would get really angry.
Ooh, what
God
has been the
damn.
biggest resource inspiration to your recovery
Fuck
from?
you, Amber.
So glad you're doing better. We love you, Beck.
My biggest resource has been my family and my friends supporting me.
Do you feel like you were walking on eggshells with the big one? Did she physically hurt you during her binges? Where did you get the strength to realize the situation you were in and walk away? Was she really an avid reader? Did she fudge her
That's a
brain
good
numbers?
question.
Did you ever want to say to Amber, shut up, for God's sake, shut up? I do the silly reactions to her sometimes. I try and make them silly, but even I just go, shut up sometimes, because it's ridiculous. There's a few in there.
I was walking on eggshells with Amberlynn. She was really easy to upset, and it wasn't physical, it was very verbally attacking. I don't know where I got the strength. I was just so fed up, and I knew it could not go on any longer. Was she an avid reader? She did read, but she definitely bought more books than she ever read. Did she fudge her way in numbers? Yeah, she would sometimes. There were just some days that she didn't feel like weighing herself, so she would just make up a number.
Lol.
I gotta know if them, Eric and Ricky, ever S-talked Amber when she was...
I'm sure. They are shady, shady gays. They totally did.
I didn't know anybody who didn't, and I didn't know anybody who she didn't talk about behind their back either.
Obviously.
What sort of lengths would you
Amber's
go
a
to keep up
shithead.
her lies? Any noteworthy moments of her trying to keep the mask from slipping during the live stream era when you broke up with her? The mask was off, and everybody. I think that's when I stopped showing any stuff. Yeah, you tell that's when that was her real self, and it was awful. So what sort of lengths would you go to keep up her lies?
She was always wearing a mask when she was recording a video, and she would try to make it to where anybody around her when she was filming wouldn't say anything that would make that mask come off. But during her live streams, you actually got to see a little bit more of who she is. I can't remember any specific times, but there were moments where she would be filming and she would nudge me and be like, "Don't say that."
Has Amber really ever...
Before we get to the next question, that makes a lot of sense in terms of Mama Lynn, like literally not talking about certain things that we know that she would observe and talk about. Like, it's very obvious that she's been told, don't mention this, don't bring it up, don't acknowledge it.
attended some form of therapy? And do you know if she had been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder while you were together? I've got a screenshot somewhere I showed it the other night where she's got posts saying, I was diagnosed. I've never been diagnosed. It's in my family, so I've probably got it. I've been diagnosed. No, I haven't.
She did go to therapy for a very, very short time when we were together, maybe a few sessions. But no, she was not diagnosed with BPD while we were together.
How did Twinkie act around Amber? Was Twink scared of Amber? We know, of course, that Beck was the one walking, feeding, caring for the animals on camera in live stream era. It seemed like Twinkie hated Amber but loved Beck. What were the animals like when she was on the binge monster? When she was shouting, when she was kicking off, when she was being horrible? I bet the animals were scared.
I don't think that she was afraid of Amber, but I definitely do think that there were times that she preferred me. When the binge monster would come out or when she would be yelling, the animals didn't like that, so they would leave.
Well, yeah.
Now, did you ever notice or clock Amber looking or talking about PDF type of things?
The only thing that I can think of is her Billie Eilish crush that she had when Billie was still under 18.
What was the final straw that made you end things? And what would you say is Amber's worst trait that you didn't believe until it was over?
I've already answered this in Karina Kaboom's Q&A, but basically we had an argument because she was pretending to be me in text messages to our friends, and that started to be a huge argument, and I went and spent the weekend with my family and just decided that I couldn't continue anymore. I would say that Amber's worst trait was how mean she was to me and how she would pick on me, and I didn't see that until we had broken up and I was watching old videos back.
I was in an abusive relationship with a narcissist before, and one day it just clicked, and I realized I was relieved to not have to see him. What was the moment that made you go, I don't want to be around her anymore? I have to get out of this, because that moment is a total game changer.
There wasn't a specific one moment, but there had just been so many different things that had happened and things just snowballed, and then we had that big argument, and then after that I left, and then I did feel that sense of relief that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I would ask, did you truly not care about her size when you first started dating? And did you ever get frustrated talking to her because of her lack of education and vocabulary?
I was shocked and alarmed whenever I first met her and realized her size, but I wasn't trying to be judgmental about it. It wasn't that I would get frustrated, it was more amusing than anything. And the only thing that was really frustrating would be when she would think that something was right when it obviously wasn't. So either I would have to Google it
So classic arrogance.
or she would have to.
I don't remember if you told this or not, but what was the incident that caused your family to intervene? Never heard of a family intervening for that. Never come across it.
It was a lot of different things, but whenever my family started seeing less of me, they were concerned.
Were you ever embarrassed walking around while she was on a scooter and asking you to take her pic for a thumbnail? That's in victims. You had to see how big she clearly was and her dumb laugh acting all smug.
Yes, I was extremely embarrassed when she would have me take pictures of her on the scooter for thumbnails. The whole hanging out with her in the scooter, walking around Walmart for hours was embarrassing enough. But it wasn't the scooter that was embarrassing because I walked around Walmart with other people who were riding scooters. And what was embarrassing about it was that the cart would be full of stuff, but then she would have me go get a new scooter when the scooter she was on would die. But I would have
Jesus
to ride it
Christ.
back to her and then switch all of her items over from the dead cart to the one that worked, and she would just ride off and keep shopping and leave
Oh my
the
God.
dead scooter where it was sitting.
What
Has
the
she been
fuck?
physically abused with you?
Wow.
Or admitted to being abused with other partners? I'm guessing she didn't. Although she admitted to Casey that she hit Crystal.
No, and I just found out about her admitting that to Casey, and I had no idea. I'm shocked she admitted to anything because she really doesn't like taking accountability.
I'd like to know if Amber had her lie about anything. She did with Destiny. Phone calls, test results, surgeries, diagnoses. I'd also like to know if Amber was ever physical with Beck. She was outed as being physical with Jade as well. Sorry, yeah, physical with Jade. Destiny outed her with the code red, and we know about Crystal and Casey. God, it's a proper pattern, isn't it? It's hard for me to imagine.
Damn. Somehow Beck is the only one who escaped the physical. God damn. Okay, Beck.
Song would change.
You
with
just
Beck.
got
I'd also like to
emotionally
know Beck now.
manipulated and
So
destroyed.
incredibly proud of you, sweetheart. From the bottom of my heart, you can hear in your voice how much better you sound mentally, and it's so refreshing to hear. I'm so glad you're doing so much better.
That's kind of
I
weird.
don't think I can remember of any time that she would have me lie about phone calls or test results or surgeries or diagnosis. There were times that she would have me lie to friends and family and stuff about things that she would say about them. I have said this before, but I do think had she been more mobile, she probably would have been physical with me. And thank you so much for the kind words. It really means a lot.
My question is, did Beck ever feel that there were times when Amberlynn would sabotage them when it came to food, meals, or weight loss?
I'm not sure if it was sabotage. We would start a diet and she would immediately want fast food, so it would set us back. When I was trying to diet on my own and she would not be dieting with me, I would have that constant temptation around me, so I would just give into it.
Has Amber ever admitted to lying about the random pet sleeve swap situation? Accused Casey of rape. And then did a slam poetry reading about it.
No, she's never admitted that to me, but I don't think she would ever admit something like that to me, especially if it made her look bad.
I'm so curious about how much Beck and Amber were recognized in public. Did people approach either Beck or Amber often? Do people approach Beck now?
Yeah, there were plenty of times that we got recognized out in public. There were plenty of times that people would come up to say, "Are you Amberlynn? It's nice to meet you," but there was nobody flirting with her or anything like that. And as for do I get noticed or approached now? No, it's only happened maybe once or twice in a year.
But Beck, have you ever seen her hit any of her pets? But did she ever do anything like that? Anything like that with her pets? Did she ever clean the litter boxes?
No, she did not hit the pets. And no, she never cleaned the litter boxes.
Oh.
I always did that.
No, she didn't hit the pets, but no, she also didn't do anything to take care of them.
Whenever we first got together
Neglectful
and I would
ass
visit, there was
bitch.
this room upstairs where the litter boxes would be, but it also had an extra bed in it. And the litter box was just it needed cleaned so bad that there was feces on the bed and on the floor.
Ew.
Please, could you describe a typical binge monster episode for us?
She would beg. Sometimes she would just be like, "Please, please, will you go get me this or that?" It would just sort of turn into like a guilt trip, like, "Why don't you love me?"
It's just like with Crystal. Crystal, will you bring me my laptop charger? I don't want to come down there.
Why don't
Or can you bring me white bottles of water?
Me to be happy? And she would just kind of be a bit of a bully about things if she wasn't getting her way.
What was the dynamic when Wifey moved into the apartment? Did she do anything to help the household, or did she just pacify Amber?
Before wifey moved in, I stopped staying at the apartment and my stuff was just there. So I really don't know what it was like around there all the time. But I do know whenever I would come back and like periodically get my things, then I would sort of see how things did work with between wifey and Amber. But wifey was usually just on her laptop working and stuff. So there wasn't, I didn't see her do a whole lot, except for she would take Twinkie out. She would walk her. I did see that.
When did
Good.
you realize that Amber
So, in other words, she was a pretty responsible person. Interesting.
was not the victim, but the cause of her issues? Yeah, I remember in the very beginning, you saying you saw lots of hate comments, negative comments, and you thought she can't be that bad. Which is nice of you to look for the good and think, no, come.
I'm sure I started seeing things right away, but I think it was periodically over time that things built up and I started noticing more of like when people wouldn't stay in her life. You know, she was always the common denominator, and how she would say that she wanted help with mental health or weight loss, but then she wouldn't get it. I started to realize that she was the one that was standing in her own way.
What happened during the infamous night when they shared a house with Eric and Ricky? Everybody got drunk and suddenly everybody needed a change and moved out. Oh yeah, yeah.
I do remember that night that we drank and played Cards Against Humanity. We didn't fight that night, but there were times that we fought all the time. So there wasn't a fight that night that caused everybody to want to move out. It was just buildup of Amber wanting to move out over time because she was not happy living there.
I would ask Beck, when living with Eric and Ricky, did they ever mention or say anything about how Amber was treating you? That era is hard to watch. It's hard to edit. Oh, man. Because of how miserable Beck looks, and then the fact that Beck's family had an intervention. But Eric and Ricky still stayed friends with Amber.
Yeah, there were times where they were like, you know, especially when she would set the timers and stuff, they would be like, this is ridiculous. We don't understand why she does this or why you put up with it. There were other times where they just wanted to stay out of it. I have no idea why they stayed friends with her after I stopped being friends with her, but I know that they said that they thought that she had changed at one point, but then they had
What?
another falling out with her. And then after a little while, they started talking to her again and visiting her. So I'm not sure what happened after that either.
What happened after the camera was turned off? After the who's the one who's been wiping your ass life?
Oh, she probably was furious.
When you whispered about who's the one who's been wiping your ass, she didn't look happy. What happened after the camera went off?
She was really mad about it. She told me that her audience is never going to let her live it down. And I think
Damn
she
right.
told me to lie and say that I was just joking about it, but I'm not entirely sure.
We've got a question from Jimmy Bunker, who you don't know who Jimmy is. He helps with the channel. He's one of my few friends. He's very nice. And he likes it. And he says, what's your favourite anime? I'm a huge fan of Full Metal Alchemist. You'll know what that is, Beck. I've not got a clue.
I have a few different favorite animes. I like Demon Slayer, and I like Ranking of Kings, and I really like Attack on Titan. And I have started a Full Metal Alchemist, but
Nice.
I'm not in it very far.
Ask about the timer. Like, how did that even happen? Or another part of me is like, what did Amber expect to happen when Jade moved in and Beck was still there? Yeah, how did the timer thing even come about?
The timer thing started whenever I was wanting to go to the basement to hang out with our roommates and play video games, and Amber was invited to go along too, but she didn't want to go. There were plenty of times that she had been down there before, but this time she decided that she didn't want to. So she thought for it to be fair, she would allot me a certain amount of time to go down there by myself. And whenever the timer would go off, I would hear it, and if I didn't hear it, she would send me a text message and say
She's
that the
such a
timer's done.
bitch.
Did Amber ever express to Beck any, I don't know the right words, did she have any kind of self-awareness during her bedbound livestream era about how physically disabled she is, and did she ever have any care for how Beck was going to be able to cope for that? Did she have any self-awareness for her making herself disabled, and did she have any care for how Beck was going to be able to cope? Because that must have been very demanding.
She did talk about it, so it did seem that she was self-aware, but she didn't want to put in the effort to make
Do
a
better.
difference and change
Exactly.
the situation. And no, I don't think that she
That's exactly what I fucking said earlier.
cared or thought about how it would affect me.
Did they ever worry about the possibility that Amber's health would decline even further and that she'd get even bigger? And what they might have done had that been the case?
Yeah, I did worry about her getting bigger and how it would affect things, but I felt very powerless in this situation.
Oh no, I'm sure there was one more I just saw earlier with her. I asked the question before, but thought of another one. Does Amber really keep her old phones? I don't think I did ask this. Or does she have a second phone? one for YouTube and one for burner accounts.
Yeah, she had 2 phones. She had gotten a new phone, and then she had her old phone. She would use her old phone for vlogs and live streams and stuff like that, and then she would use her new phone for other things, but I'm not sure exactly what she would use it for.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what she did when she moved in with Destiny. She still had the phone that Crystal's parents were paying for, and then she wanted to activate the new one that she bought with Destiny, but then she couldn't because she had to transfer over the number or something and then send back the old phone. But she was using one for vlogging, but she was planning to use. Oh, yeah. She was vlogging with the new camera because she could use it without activating it, but then had the old phone still. So, like, Amber's used to this shit. Having 2 phones, that's nothing new for her. She just likes to pretend.
Thanks for doing this, Beck.
Thank you.
For
Thank you,
reacting
Beck.
to the video.
And
Thank you
Mr.
very much.
Snowflake.
And I'll keep you updated on victims. Yeah, if like I said, there was so many questions. If you want to do another one of these, there's more questions to go. Give me a shout, like I said.
There are.
Thanks everybody for watching. See you in the next video. Thanks everybody. Thanks, Beck.
Thank
And
you.
that is all for this video. I want to thank Mr. Snowflake for getting all of this together for me to respond to. And I also want to thank you guys for listening and watching. I know that this was a longer video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope to see you guys in the next one.
Bye. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this reaction, leave a like, subscribe, and leave some drums in the comments. Later.